Fellas, coming into this game, we knew that we had a 2 seed already in the NFC in the Philadelphia Eagles and some movement to be done at the top of that draft board. Your expertise, Ryan, for the New York Giants. We will explore all of that in the hours and days to come. But in this 60 minutes of football, it was, again, a Giants team that played with a little bit more want to, Emery, than we maybe expected out of them. What'd you see down the stretch here under Brian Daboll?
The guys competed and they love Brian Daboll as a head coach. So to me, that tells me, okay, the players haven't given up on Brian Daboll. They want him to be their guy. They want him to still be the leader of that football team. And it also shows you that the Giants do have talent in certain spots. We know what the obvious issue is for this football team, but they have enough to where they can be competitive within their division. And then as they add more talent, maybe outside of the NFC East. But right now, you love that the team has competed down the stretch. They won some ball games. They played this Philadelphia Eagles team hard, albeit the twos, but this team showed up and showed out for Brian Daboll and his job, in my opinion, down the stretch.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, the reality is that there's not a ton on the Eagles side of all of this because really all the magic happened in the other games, in the Packers and the Commanders game. If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, this was a near perfect day. The only thing that could have made it more perfect is probably technically if the Eagles lost, and then the Giants actually have then like a worse draft, spot. But that's a kind of a whatever situation. But the Eagles are facing the Packers, and that has to be pretty much the best situation for the Eagles. Now, obviously, if you're the Eagles, you believe that you could beat anyone. We know all that. Like, that's fine, right? But we like to kind of get lost in the weeds here and try to figure out what we can, find. So when you really kind of look at this path, it's actually almost near perfect. It really is. And in a way, it's better to have this 2 seed than the 1 seed and just kind of where they are. First off, I think they got this bye right now. So that's great. They got this bye. They're good to go. They're ready to go. And now they're in this situation where they're going to play against the Packers, who, when I'm recording this video, Jordan Love's banged up. Malik Willis is banged up. Watson's banged up. Like, I don't know who's even playing now for the Packers team. That's a young team. They're defeated. They just lost to the Bears. They have not been playing high-quality ball at all. If you're an Eagles fan, you have to feel great about that. You have to feel that you should absolutely dominate that game and win it convincingly and be able to just, I don't want to say steamroll them because it's still the playoffs. And again, I don't know who's going to be playing that game. But again, I'm looking at it, if you're from the Eagles perspective, like, you have to feel great. Obviously, if you're looking at it from the Packers perspective, they're like, hey, we still got a chance. We can still do this. Look what we did last year. Look what we even did this year. Like, you can still make that argument. But if you're the number 2 seed in the Philadelphia Eagles, you're like, nah, man. Nope. Better luck next year. See you next time. And that's what you're going to be feeling. And I think it's a better matchup for the Eagles to go up against the Packers and the Commanders. Now, obviously, if you're an Eagles fan, you believe, hey, we can beat the Commanders too. But Jaden Daniels is a legitimate wild card. Whether Eagles fans want to admit it now or later, Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback, an unbelievable quarterback. And so who knows what he'll be able to do in the playoffs. Not to mention, Dan Quinn knows the Philadelphia Eagles very well. He's been defensively coaching against them for years. 4 years. And Cliff Kingsbury is an awesome play caller. Straight up, awesome play caller and play designer. That's very real. And so the situation is again, when you are talking about a divisional playoff game, anything can happen. Truly, anything can happen. We know that. We've seen that historically for decades. Anything can happen. So that was always going to be a weird game. Again, if you're an Eagles fan, you're like, nah, we don't care. We'll be able to rock them. But again, you just don't know. And again, as we saw, the Eagles literally lost to the Commanders. And I understand Jalen Hurts went down. Still, they still lost. So like I just keep saying, anything can happen. So now you have the Commanders going up against the Rams, which is so fascinating because if they beat the Rams, then they're now going to face the number 1 seed, which will either be the Vikings or the Lions. Again, I'm recording this before that game happens. So now the only way that the Commanders or that the Eagles will most likely face the Commanders again is if it is in the NFC Championship game. And if that's the case, it's like all bets are off. But now if the Commanders lose, then the Eagles will face the Rams. And the Rams are hardly this dominant juggernaut of a team right now. I mean, like, their Cooper Kupp looks like he might be washed. It's really just Stafford and Puka Nacua. And again, the Eagles beat the Rams pretty convincingly. In the second half, they were able to pretty much do whatever they wanted. And Stafford suddenly looks pretty old. And if you're now keep holding, taking that game at home, the Rams are on the road. which should be pretty cold, like you're gonna feel pretty good about that game as well. And then again, if the Commanders upset the Rams, then you're going with the winner of the 4 and 5, and that's going to be either the Bucks or or again, either the Vikings or the Lions. And so again, like you're gonna feel pretty good about that as well. So all interesting stuff. Like it really is right there for the taking. I'm kind of on the fence what you want to happen. In a way, having the Commanders lose to the Rams and having to face the Rams, having the Rams have to go cross country in the cold. Again, not so sure how well their game will travel, how Stafford will look in the cold. He, again, older quarterbacks in the cold are not known to be like, hot shots. It's there's a reason why Tom Brady went down south. It's a real thing. So it's right there. And then again, I think depending on if it's the Lions or the Vikings, because if the Lions lose, and now they then beat the why can't I think of the name of the team? The Bucks again, then you'll be facing them, but then you might be like looking your chances against them as well, because now they're on the road, and there's a lot of concerns about Goff on the road and outside in the cold, and they're banged up. Like it is truly there for the Eagles to, at the minimum, get to the NFC Championship game. I thought anything short of reaching the Super Bowl would be a failure for the Eagles, to just put it point blank. They're too good of a team with too amazing of a roster, with obviously players like Saquon, AJ, etc. absolutely balling out, and that defense, of course, as well. And so, especially anything short of getting to the NFC Championship game, with this path laid out for them, would be an absolute disaster, would be an absolute epic failure. And, so I'm just going to put that out there, because it is there for their taking. They absolutely should beat the Packers. They absolutely should. No question about it. And then again, whether they're going to face the Rams or the winner of, again, it'll be between those three teams. So, we'll talk much more about it, because since we really don't know, it's like you should be able to beat the Bucks. Again, it all depends on how some of these things unfold, but really any of those teams you should be able to beat at home. Them going on the road, like it's the situation right there for the Eagles to take advantage of. So, but again, it's still kind of funny to try to like figure out who's going to play who, because it still is a bit of a kind of murky in this immediate moment, at least, on Sunday night when I'm recording these videos. But again, great day for the Eagles. I think they really got dealt a great hand in terms of who they're going to be facing. The fact that they got to rest everyone. At one point, AJ Brown so into that game, and then later in the game, he kind of ran out of steam, and he's like, all right, I'm just chilling now. I'm just sitting here. So, good day for the Eagles. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles and kind of their playoff trajectory right now? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.